Gen Z, you've got questions. I've got unqualified answers from your ex-elder idiot. The other day, I asked Grok about the most pressing questions weighing on Gen Z, and it spit out a whole list of things that have you concerned. And these were compiled from like 4 different studies of a bunch of different eggheads that sit around all day and try and manufacture ways to make you think and what to make you think and all that. So, but let's get into them anyway. I wrote them down. They're all right here. So let's work through this. Question number 1. Will my generation have a stable future? No, it's the future. That doesn't mean you give up. That doesn't mean that there's no hope. It just means that this world, as it is right now, is ever changing. Change is, pretty much the opposite of stable. So just get used to it and make your plans, adapt. That's what we did. Nobody has adapted to situational environments better than Gen X. That's why we are the badass generation. Next, is society headed in the right direction or falling apart? Answer to that is yes. It is heading in the right direction in a lot of ways. It is absolutely crumbling in other ways. So again, this is a situation where you be the best you that you can be, not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. That's the best answer I can give on that. Next question. Does education or traditional paths even matter anymore? It depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a brain surgeon, if you want to be a rocket scientist, if you want to be a lawyer, then yeah, the more traditional type of education is the better way to go. If you want to be a captain of industry or just make a good living, college is more and more a waste of time, money, and your precious brain. So there's no clear answer on that either. Next question. Can I delay major milestones such as family, home ownership, or escape paycheck to paycheck life? You can. You can, especially with, actually life expectancies aren't going up anymore, are they? I don't see a problem with delaying those things. Of course, I would love to see everybody take to heart the advice that Charlie Kirk gave us when he said, if you want to change the world, get married, have children, go to church. Now, I would amend the last part of that just to say, get married, have children, and follow Jesus. Because you can go to a church and it can be all the wrong experiences. The key there is to find the right church. Take your time. Don't cast them all into one bad experience that you may or may not have had. Go to where they're teaching the gospel and inspiring you when you come out every day, to not just come out and be done with it, but to guide your life going forward. It'll change your life. It'll change the world. What is true or worth believing? This is a big question for Gen Z, because and this is how Gen Z and Gen X are most similar in our distrust of every major institution that exists in, especially in this country, in America. You've been lied to your entire life. We were lied to our entire life. We recognized it somewhat early. You recognized it even earlier than us. Your BS detector is beyond compare. In fact, it might be a little too sensitive, because sometimes there are things that simply are what they are and it's true. And because you've been conditioned not to believe anything anybody tells you, that you find conspiracies on everything. I love a good conspiracy. But sometimes I've seen Z go a little far with that. Next question. Can I trust AI? What does it mean to be human in a world? Let me back up. Can I trust AI? What does it mean to be human in an AI world? AI can be the absolute greatest thing that has ever come along, and it can also decide to eat us. The key is to treat it like a tool, nothing more, and don't trust it like it's a god. Do not worship it like it's a god, and that would take a lot of explaining to do, but just know what it is, accept it for what it is, and don't give it all of your faith or power. Next question. Am I enough? Am I safe? There's no doubt that you're enough. Keep in mind that the creator of this entire universe also created you. The creator of the entire universe numbered every single hair on your head. Well, they're there. They're just really super short. And he doesn't make mistakes. And you are enough. A lot of times we don't know. A lot of times we don't understand that we're enough, but we are. And your vision of what your life should be may not exactly match the actual version of what your life should be. I know that's really a difficult one to understand, but I could talk about that for hours. As far as am I safe, I'll tell you this right now. Safety is way overrated. Now, this requires a lot of thought, but the safer you are, the less free you are. Really think about that. The safer you are, the less free you are. And I promise you that's an absolute fact. Where do I truly belong? Again, I don't want to sound like this is a sermon of any kind, but you decide that, and it usually works out best if you and God decide that together. A collaboration. God wants to collaborate with you. God wants to be your friend. I know that's crazy. It sounds crazy. The creator of the entire universe wants to be your friend. He wants a relationship with you. So that's for you and he to figure out. Where we make a lot of mistakes is when we only trust ourselves to figure out where we belong. Next question. How do I treat others? Well, the golden rule is a good place to start. Treat others as you would have them treat you. With love is the best way to go. respect for all humans. Now, it's important that with love and respect doesn't mean giving in or giving ground to the spirit of the age. If something's bad, if something's wrong, if something is immoral, you can still love a person and not agree with them. How can I design a life that fits me? Well, that goes back to where do I truly belong? The best way to do it is collaborate with the Almighty, with Jesus. It's just that simple. And you'll find your rewards come that way. They may not come easy. They may not come in the way that you think they should come. But that's where the rewards come, is when you are actively following Jesus. Does my work contribute to something positive? In most cases, yes. Unless your work is actively involved in hurting others, if your work is contributing to society in any way whatsoever, and sometimes it's hard to see how our work is contributing to society, but your work, even if it's just the paycheck you're making, and you, again, in collaboration with God, with Jesus, is you decide how you're going to put that money to use in His name. That could just be raising your family, raising your children, not having debt, finding good charitable things to give to. There's a lot of ways that you can make jobs that seem meaningless meaningful. Last question already. How do I find energy, aliveness, and a sense of mattering? Well, I'm a fat old man who has never felt more alive than I do right now. And I've always believed in God. I've always believed in Jesus. But I didn't actually start seeking Him until roughly 5-6 years ago. And let me tell you, and more so even just in the last year, the closer I get in my relationship to Jesus, the more energy I feel. I feel as energized as I did in my 20s. And I'm directing those energies in better ways than I did back then. And it feels fantastic, and it makes you crave more. To sum it all up, these questions that are weighing heavily on your mind, Gen Z, these are, except for the AI question, these are all questions that every generation that's come before you has had, and concerns that every generation that has come before you has had. So take heart that it's not new, that we've all been there before. Also take heart in that we have found ways to overcome challenges and fears about the future. Don't ever be afraid to fail. And that question of safety, but it's a really hard thing to explain, but getting out there, risking, I mean, I don't want it to sound like this, but risking life and limb for the right purposes and risking failure, because we fear failure as a society right now. And as Gen X, failure was how many times a day? Harm came to us on nearly a daily basis as well. So what it does is it teaches you how to adapt, how to go on and innovate, really. So you're going to be fine, Z. I see me in you. I see all of our generation in you. You are asking all the right questions. You're going to the right places for answers in numbers that are quite astonishing, actually. So I am extremely hopeful for Generation Z. And I'm here to help in any way that I can. I don't know that I will be any help. Don't forget, I'm unqualified for the title that I hold. So, hey, if this was helpful at all, I wouldn't mind getting a like. I wouldn't mind getting my first subscriber here real soon. And hopefully we'll do it again really, really soon.